That's not Siri, is it?
No. Are we ready to begin?
Almost.
Could I take roll call when it starts?
Yeah, I'll welcome everyone and then you can do roll call.
Thank you.
All right, you are set.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to the May 10th meeting of the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees. This is one of our regular monthly meetings, and I will turn it over to Gail Whitney to do a roll call attendance.
Okay, Anna Eddy?
Here.
Laurel? Is
Laurel is
there?
here. She's on mute. She's here.
Hello,
Okay.
here.
Okay. Hello. I heard Judy, Lisa Jones.
I know she's
Lisa
planning to attend.
All right, we'll give her a
Okay.
moment.
All right, Pauline.
Here.
Iris, you said isn't there yet?
I don't see her.
Okay. Maureen, I heard. LeeAnn, I heard. Neil, I heard. Diane, I heard. Christine.
Here.
Lisa Masten.
I'm here. Thank you.
Karen Benner.
Hi, Gail, I'm here.
Hi, Karen. Dave Nagel.
Yeah.
Chris Miner. Is Chris there?
We
Nope.
don't see him.
Okay, and Sheila.
I'm here.
Okay, that's everybody. And if Iris comes in, let me know, or Lisa, if they come in, let me know.
Okay.
Or Chris Miner. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Gail. Just quickly before I go into public participation, anyone who might have joined earlier, Gail has tendered her resignation as the scribe for our board, and she will be here for this meeting and the June meeting, and then we will be looking to find someone else to actually take the written minutes for our meetings. So if you know folks, I did get one name. If you know of people that are available on the second Monday, then that would be good for us to know and be able to work with. So we are going to miss Gail. She stated that she's been with us and doing this for 31 years. So
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
yes, she deserves a rest and maybe an award for being able to put up with the very many boards over the very many years. But she's always given a good counsel. When I started to run the meeting, she helped me out with some of the procedures, which was always appreciated. She has a wealth of contacts, which was always helpful for us. And even when it came to as late as last meeting, when we were talking about slogans and maybe some things that could happen, I think she gave us some interesting slogans to think about and work with. So, Gail, I don't know what we'll do without you. We've certainly appreciated your long service to the board, and we hope to see you. We're gonna hold you to that promise that you'll come on live so we can say hello and see you one more time.
I will do that. Yeah.
You take
I will
off.
do that. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I will do that. And I thank you all so very much. I mean, it's been it's 30 years. As I said, 91 I started, and I also resigned from I hate to say resigned, sounds so like it was mean. I've stepped down from the Commission on Aging and Disabled, which I've been doing for 35 years, since 1986.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's time. I moved out here to Marlborough in October of 2019. And, I stuck it out for a year and a half here, but, sometimes the drive can be a little much. And as I said, now that I'm taking care of my 2-year-old and 7-month-old granddaughters, it's a long day. So it's time, but I'm going to miss you all, but you'll see me in June, and I'm in Newington at least every other week because, the Target runs and the Sam's run. So I hope to see you all around town. So, but thank you all for all your support over the years and letting me, put your words to the page. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you, Gail.
as a side note, Lisa Jones has joined us at this point.
Okay, thanks.
I see you, Lisa. So you can mark that in the roll call. So thank you.
Okay.
James, is there anyone out there for public participation?
Nobody with us tonight.
Okay. So then we'll move on to Town Council Liaison. Dave?
We didn't have a council meeting 2 weeks ago, so it's been quite a while since we've had a council meeting. And I'm not certain, but don't know whether the mill rate had been settled and the budget was passed since we've last met. If not, briefly, the mill rate is 38.81 now, which is minus 0.47 or almost half a mil. And I'm sure Lisa will talk about other things if need be concerning that in relationship to the library. Nothing was changed from previously. And I'm sure later on your agenda, you have about the 150th anniversary, and the history walk seemed to be quite successful. And I also have some information later if you want to know more about the 150th when the subject comes up later in the meeting.
Okay.
And that's it in case somebody has a question.
Thanks, Dave. Does anyone have a question for Dave? No, then we will certainly bring you back in towards the end of the meeting when we get to the 150th and if there's anything else that comes up. Secretary's report. I don't see Iris has not joined us yet, so I'll say at this point there's no secretary's report. And Iris is still absent. Approval of minutes. Everybody get a chance to review the minutes. Neil, I thought I saw your hand raised.
Minor correction, on page 7, item 2, open board positions. The last sentence says the town council needed specific paperwork regarding this, and Dave responded that it says she, but I think it should mean he. He is all set with the town council.
No, it actually is she, because what it is that Pauline is all set with the town council.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
what he was referring to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read that. Okay.
That's okay.
Yep, makes perfect sense now.
So maybe it might be more clearer to change the word she and say responded that Pauline is all set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any,
Okay.
Laurel, I see your hand up.
Yeah, page 6, under item 12, old business, towards the end of the paragraph. I thought it might be a little easier to understand if we rephrase this. Her other idea is that past awards ceremonies lasted, past tense, too long, period. To shorten it, the prize drawings could be held, but virtually the next day, like the Ready, Set, Go giveaway was done. When I first read it, I was a little confused what was going on there, so I didn't know if that would be helpful.
Okay.
For whatever that's worth.
Yep. I have no objection. Gail, did you catch that?
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me just do one sec. Okay, her other idea is that the past award ceremonies lasted too long, period. To shorten it, have the prize drawing.
The prize drawing could be held virtually the next day.
Okay,
Like the Ready, Set, Go giveaway was done.
okay. Next
Thank
day.
you.
Okay, yep, thank you.
LeeAnn?
The only thing, and this isn't really the minutes, but it does prompt me because I was reminded by Pauline. Maybe I missed it, but was Pauline not on the email distribution list? For
Correct.
the agenda?
I caught it and it was corrected. There was the mailing list was updated with the different addresses and I was inadvertently left off.
Okay, I just want to make sure you got added on, that's all.
Yes.
Any other clarifications or questions?
When you vote, I'll abstain because I wasn't here.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of April 12th as amended.
Second.
This is Maureen.
Maureen seconded, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Yep.
Motion passes, thank you. So, the corrected minutes are approved. Next up is the review of the annual activities calendar. And as we have been doing for a year now, our activities calendar is a little bit out of sync. Normally, we would be having our race next Sunday, but that has been postponed until October. But the other items that come up in the May timeframe, we should be thinking about nominations for the annual meeting. So during our June meeting, if you have names of folks or again, it's been a very odd year, but we usually look for recognition of volunteers or corporate folks in the area, staff, anyone else that has really supported or shown a lot of activity in support of the library. So just think about that. I do have an old blank form that we can send out. Anna had forwarded that on to me today. We should think about it, and we should be able to write a little sentence about maybe what's happening. Now, in the past, we have tried to cut down some of the awards to time different speakers that we have and things like that. So I'm not looking so much to put a name in every slot as much as I am looking to recognize folks that have gone above and beyond in this last year and a half. I don't know, this COVID nonsense that we're going through. As we go through that. Last year at the annual meeting, we did recognize staff, knowing that they had just done an outstanding job to be flexible and come up with new and creative ideas. And they've continued to do that, which is very nice. But again, before the June meeting, if you want to think about it a little bit, do you have any names or any folks that you would want to see recognized at the annual meeting? That would be good to bring up at that point. So we appreciate that. Going through. That's all I'm going to say in terms of what normally goes on in May, but we will be having some race meetings throughout the summer to prepare for our race in October. We're far enough away that we don't know if we're going to have a race as usual or if we're going to have some COVID restrictions on that race. It looks like mostly things have been going back to normal bit by bit as people get vaccinated and what have you, but we just don't know at this point how much of a virtual race we might need or anything else. So for now, it's still in the planning stages. Be aware that we will have some meetings coming up on the 5K race, not necessarily board meetings, but race meetings to make sure that we stay on track for our October deadline for that. I see a hand go up. Okay, and we can talk about that more under race when we get there. And then that's really what I have on the activities committee. Okay, so from there, I would move on to the treasurer's report with LeeAnn Manke.
I sent out the report last week. There wasn't a lot of activity this month. We have basically some administrative costs. However, I have paid the premium for the directors and officers since the first of this month. So that was a larger piece of change, $633. So it's just pretty much business expenses as usual. We did receive a couple more memorial donations and we also received 3 5K race sponsors in. So we had some income and our bank account, that was good for the bottom line. The money market is still being evaluated, earning minimal interest at this point. And the money market had no real activity currently with the restricted funds. We did have our current balance as of today is $19,799. As I noted in the report that the Dr. David Polino had left a bequest. Dr. Polino established the book fund years ago. And we've received notice that he had passed away a couple of years ago and they're settling his estate now, that we were going to receive a percentage. It amounts to, hold on, let me get the right amount. Hold on. At this point, the evaluation is estimated to be for us. Of course, I have that in a different piece of paper. $14,796, but it is going to be restricted. It does go into the Polino Book Fund, but I would like to have a meeting with Karen and Lisa and whoever is going to be handling memorial purchases, so we can start utilizing those funds for some of the memorial purchases that are specific to the book fund. So circulation items and things like that. So it's a very nice gift. We don't have it in hand yet, but we have been notified. We filed the necessary paperwork and sent it on back to the attorneys. And it's certainly very nice to be remembered by our patrons. And Dr. Polino had been a supporter in the past, and he continued after his death. So we appreciate it. The other thing that, and actually Anna prompted me today, but I am going to be evaluating perhaps moving to another bank. Santander has been good, but since they moved out of the center of town, it's been, they're not quite as receptive, and most of the staff is scattered, so I don't know people in there. And I'm going to do a little evaluation of local banks to see where we're at, because we have all the, I have to order everything new. Since we moved from 95 Cedar to 100 Garfield, all the checks, deposits, stamps, everything else are all incorrect. And that's going to be probably a few $100 charge, when I purchase all of that, whether we go stay with Santander or continue to another bank. But I want to see what other banks offer. We don't have a lot in those particular accounts, so it's not like we're a huge business account, but I will see what they have to offer at local other branches.
Thank you.
Diane,
Yes, Judy.
regarding Dr. Polino's generous gift, do we have anything we can put in the books that will be purchased with that to make note that it was donated by him?
So Lisa is shaking her head, yes.
Yes, we have book plates, Judy, that we put
Thank
in
you.
whenever we make a memorial. Whenever we purchase something with a memorial funds,
Yep.
and we have a person's name attached to it, their name goes into the book plate, on the book plate in the book.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Another suggestion might be to, and we've done this to other people who've left funds to the library or been particularly supportive, is that might be one of the honorees at the awards.
Good point. Which would then generate an article for the newspaper. Maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Very much could. So when the actual payment, I think, is processed, we'll turn around. I know that the library has been speaking with the lawyers involved and what have you, but we will, once we get the actual funds in-house and are able to use them, we'll make sure we get a thank you note out to the family or whoever. I know that we have had some conversations with them, but it is a very nice and generous gift, so we're happy to have that funding. All right, anything else on the treasurer's report?
Unless somebody has questions.
Any questions for LeeAnn?
Good job.
Okay, thank you. So moving on, we'll go to the library director's report. Lisa Masten.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We, so last Wednesday on, was it last Wednesday? No. It actually, no, it's been a blur. April 28th, we opened our doors to the public. So people can come in to browse now. And we have been excited to see our patrons back, and they're excited to be back in the building. It's really meant for browsing only right now. Downstairs, people can just come in and look for what they want and check it out. And upstairs in children's right now, which I'm sure will change as the numbers get better, they are taking appointments. Usually, it seems like upstairs when people come in, it's usually children with parents. So it's not always one person at a time. And because of the space constrictions, we want to just make sure we don't get overloaded with bodies upstairs. But walk-ins are welcome. So if there's room upstairs, they're welcome to go up and browse as well. And there's no time limit on the browsing. The seating is, there's really no seating, but and same with in children's, there's no toys, there's no seating for the parents. I mean, we're not really trying to encourage people to stay too long right now, but I know as things progress, you know, get into the summer, that stuff's going to change. Karen's going to talk to you about the computers and stuff, but fax machines available, the public fax machine, the copier is available. Staff is, you know, very happy to help people. So we're open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 7, Fridays 10 to 5, and Saturdays 9:30 to 1. Monday through Thursday from 1 to 6, we do have curbside as well. And then on Fridays from 1 to 4, we have curbside as well. And curbside's definitely gone down, but there are people that are still hesitant to go in. So they're still happy that we're offering that as well. And what we found out the day before we were opening our doors is we have to fill out COVID. I don't know what they're called. Karen, you can remind me. People have to they have to check in and fill out a COVID form just to make sure they don't have it, and they have to sign the form. So that was kind of a last minute deal. For the most part, people have been really good about doing it. A few people have grumbled, but they're doing it, and I think a lot of people are just happy to be able to come in. And so it's been going well. I mean, everyone is every day you're seeing it. A few more people come in than the day before. So that's what we want to see. And I think parents are excited their kids can come back. I guess some woman went upstairs with their child and filled up with tears when she came into the children's room. So that was nice. And I saw someone today I hadn't seen in a long time. So it's just very fun that we're seeing all these people again that we used to see all the time. We are going to, last Friday was Diane Durrett's last day as the head of reference. She was worked 40 and a half years at the library. And we had all she wanted was a breakfast sit, which we made it a little bit bigger than that. But we honored Diane for her many years of hard work. And she was a really great employee. We were saying that we're losing the history of the library as these people retire. Luckily, we can still call up Ruth Block, and we'll be able to do the same with Diane. But a lot of these, they have a lot of history, and they know a lot of things that many of us don't know because we weren't here working at the library at that time. But Diane is going to stay on as a substitute, which we're really happy about. We're letting her take a week or so off before we schedule her again. The town manager's office informed me that they found money. We had asked for, in CIP, we'd asked for money to do the second phase of the carpeting for the first floor. And they actually they found money in this year's budget. So that's going to be happening in the next 6 weeks or so. The bottom floor is going to be recarpeted. So I'm working with the vendor to get that all in place. But once we look at the sample and we make sure it's the right one, it's like 4 to 6 weeks after that they'll come in and install. So we're pretty excited about that. So it's the entire first floor that they're going to be doing, with the exception of the quiet study area, because that was recarpeted when we had that leak about 5 years ago in that area. And then a couple other things about grants. We did apply for a local grant. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find my paperwork. It was with Harvard Foundation, the Newington Community Fund application. We applied for a grant. We haven't heard yet, but I'm just letting you know. We applied for a grant to circulate 10 more Wi-Fi hotspots to the Newington population. And one of the things we found, the use of these, it's not just people to take them to go on vacation, which is a nice thing to actually have if you're going someplace that doesn't have Wi-Fi access, but people it supplements them if their data plan gets low at the end of the month, which some people do run into because they're always using their phone. They can really run down their data plan if they don't have unlimited data. And then the other thing is people that might have had to give up internet access because of COVID, the pandemic, losing jobs. And the other thing we did find that was kind of interesting is with COVID, one of the new things that some parents started doing was streaming games, the school games to, because parents couldn't go. You weren't allowed to go to the games. So they've been streaming them. So we've been working with some parents who have checked them out to be able to stream the games to parents who couldn't go or who were unable to go. So that's another way they're getting used. So we applied for 10 to have 10 for a year. They'd be paid for. And these hotspots do have unlimited data on them. There's no restriction. And the 2 that we have now are very popular, but we're hoping to add more. And then I don't know if you have heard in the news that I have to find it. I'm sorry, I just have to find the name of it. It's a federal grant that the library is going to be getting. I had to go to it's called the ARPA grant. It's American Relief. I just had it up too. It's from the federal government, and they're giving libraries grant money to cover. They have like different priority categories that they're doing it for, and you can use this money for PPE, for furniture equipment indoors to help with things like if you need better furniture for social distancing or to upgrade your furniture to make it more effective, cleaning supplies, IT equipment, and security. You can't use it on, you cannot use it on like personnel costs, and you can't, there's specific things you can use it for and other things you can't. So there are many libraries throughout the state, and I can send you I'll send you the email link so you can look at it. But they picked different libraries throughout the state to get these grants, and Newington's going to get 21,000. Sorry. Where'd you go? 21,600 and some odd dollars for the grant. So we have until the end of June to come up with a plan. You have to fill out an application. The one thing, I went to the preliminary Zoom meeting about it, and you got to find out the do's and the don'ts, especially because it's federal money. There's a lot more. The state library is the one that's going to be administering this grant. But in this link that I show you, they'll show you a map of all the different towns in Newington. And do you remember that other grant money that they had in the fall, I think it was, that they had already predetermined who got the money? It was called the Everybody Learns grant payment. Well, if any of the libraries got that money, they got a minimum, they got 3,000 total for this grant. So we didn't get any money in that one. So we are getting a much larger amount. So we're working on a plan to spend the money. One of the challenges with any kind of IT equipment is that if it touches your network or if it touches your computers, you have to put filtering software on everything. So that's always been an issue with federal funding when it comes to technology. So we might stay away from that, but we do have some needs within the building, as far as socially distancing our computers. That's furniture, things like that. So we're looking at different things that we might spend the money, but you have to have a plan out. Then you meet with somebody at the state library, they approve it. Then you make sure you have all your funding in place, and there's all these restrictions about that. But then we would get the money, and they're gonna, as soon as they approve it, they administer it pretty quickly. So that's a really nice plus and something I certainly didn't expect. And I think it is great news. It's great news. But it will give us some options of maybe some different things we can do in the building to, help our patrons, help the staff, that kind of thing. So that's something that we're going to be working on over the next 6 weeks to make sure we're in good place. So,
Lisa, what is the dollar amount attached to the Wi-Fi hotspots?
It's $30. So it's $30 a month per hotspot. You get the hotspot itself is free. but the monthly charge is about $30 a month. So it'd be like $3,600 for the year to do 10 more. And then that, the extra stuff would be like cases for them to circulate, and then just something to house them in, to charge them, and then additional cords in case anything gets lost. The name of the grant, I just found my sheet as soon as I stopped talking about it, American Rescue Plan Act. And it's being administered by the IMLS, which is Karen, I can never remember what that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Librarians are famous. Oh, Institute of Museum and Library Services. They're famous for acronyms. Then you can't remember what the heck they are.
That one?
It was Institute of Museum and Library Services. That's who is offering the grant, but it's a federal grant, and then the state library administers the grant. So
Thank you. Laurel, I thought I saw your hand up earlier. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask Lisa from where the request for the questionnaire for the patrons comes from, because I was quite startled by it. Libraries have a history of protecting patron privacy. I've had to fill this out at 2 different libraries.
are you talking about for
when I come in to browse? I have to fill out a questionnaire.
That's the town manager is requiring us to do that.
Well, I know we're not the only library, but it really is contrary to our history.
I think, well, they're doing,
Newington, I mean,
right.
public libraries in general.
But they're doing, I understand, Laurel, I do.
Yeah.
They're doing it for contact tracing.
Yeah.
And what we do is they're forms, Laurel, and we don't input them in anything. And they're just, we're keeping the forms. And I think I don't know when we can get rid of them, but we're being required to do that right now.
I figured you were, but I question the usefulness of the forms. Plus, I found it difficult for, if you had an illegal immigrant come in, that would be very off-putting.
No, right. And it's kind of, usually we don't do that.
I know. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
So that would be something to pay attention to in terms of hanging on to that. I can see where we're running up against 2 different areas, right? One is if you come into the library and we find out that there's been an exposure to COVID, we would like to be able to notify folks that there's a possible exposure and they should pay attention. Hopefully that will go away as the virus goes away and we come back to normal. But I know that we have always been extremely careful of maintaining the privacy of of the patrons in the library. So it is kind of competing needs there. Is it the patron safety or is it the patron's privacy, right?
Right,
so
thank you.
Doing from one or the other. Just as a side note, Gail, I can see that Iris has joined the call, so you can put her in as that goes through. Does anyone else have questions for Lisa Masten at this point?
This is Maureen.
Yes.
I don't have a question, just a comment on the conversation we were just having about the form and privacy. That's been quite a topic of conversation in all areas. I've seen it on the news, in newspapers, online, and it's like the public health issue is trumping everything else. That's really what it boils down to. It's
I just really wonder how useful it's going to be if anybody does get COVID and, how they connect it with the library.
I don't know, but I mean, even where I work, and it's more of an honor system because we're a smaller group, but we're supposed to do a checklist before we come into the office.
Sure.
Exposure, fever, illness, whatever, so.
Traveling.
Again,
Traveling. Have you been out of state?
Yeah, it's all, again, the public health issue is trumping everything.
Okay, I don't see any other questions, so I'll move on to the Assistant Library Director's report. Karen Benner?
Hi, everybody. Just another personnel update. we posted the business manager position to union employees. I think I might have mentioned that at the last meeting. We had one applicant from within the town, and that person is actually not moving forward. So the point that we're at right now is that the position is posted to non-union part-time people within the library and within the town hall. So that posting went up, I think it was last Friday. It will be up until May 20th. And then we'll go from there.
And this is for the office manager?
This is for the business manager position. Yeah. So we'll see what that brings. You'll see some new faces. Diane, were you going to say something?
No, I'll save it to the end.
Okay. When you come in the library, you'll see some of the new people that we've been talking about. The two permanent part-time people and the two subs have completed their training. They're now working regularly at the circulation desk. We also had a new children's sub start. She started this month. She'll be training. Actually, she was training last week, and then we're going to have an additional children's sub start next week. And finally, to round it all out, we did hire a reference substitute, and she's going to be starting towards the end of May. She had actually worked previously for us as a substitute in circulation. And then Lisa had mentioned a little bit about some of the technology services we were offering. We started offering when we opened up back on the 28th, a few computers. We had 2 Internet Express stations, and we ended up pretty quickly determining that there was a little bit more of a need, and things seem to be working pretty smoothly. So we now have 3 Internet stations. They're 30-minute stations right now. We probably will be increasing that to 60 minutes. We have 2 catalog computers, and then we have a sit-down database computer. So that's what we have currently, and that's kind of evolving. We'll probably, slowly increase as we see the need, and also, keeping the social distancing, in mind. And that's it.
So, out of curiosity, how many positions have you and Lisa trained with your staff in this?
Lisa, I think
year?
it's 7, I think.
Yes. It feels endless. I mean, and I haven't even been, well, what's hard is that we just merged our staff as of today. So we've been working in teams for more than a year. So some of these people started training, and you don't know who they are. And so this is really good that we're finally all getting to be together. But yes, it's been a lot. It's been more for Karen, I will say, than it has for me, because she's kind of taken on that role of the personnel stuff as far as training the new staff. But so far they're doing a really good job. But yes, it's a lot.
Great.
And it's never ending. I feel like it's never ending.
Musical chairs, right?
Yes.
That's what's happening over there. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you both. And I'm glad to hear that the library staff has been merged back together again. That's nice. I think that'll give you a little more flexibility. Does anyone else have questions for Karen? Maureen, your hand is up, but I don't think you have a question. She'll take it down.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so moving on to Friends of the Library with Sheila Rowell. Sheila?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Just wanted to share the things that we've been doing lately. We've had a second book sale on Saturday in April, which we kind of advertised as nonfiction, but we put a whole lot of other stuff, children's fiction, everything out. And had a good response to that one, as good as the one we had before. And we're planning another one the first week in June, with probably everything in it. So you see if we can completely clear out and make some room so that we can start accepting donations downstairs. We went a long way in kind of sorting out and cleaning out the container. and putting it in some sort of an order while we were doing the book sale. So that's helped a lot in finding things and knowing what we're doing with those. I think that's all that's been going on.
Super. Thank you. Any questions for Sheila? Laurel?
Yes, I wanted to know, when do you anticipate being able to receive books? I'd like to start thinning out some of my shelves.
There's a lot of people that are
Selectively,
telling us
selectively.
that. We're hoping after the next book sale, and that's going to be June 5th.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions for the friends? No. Thank you, Sheila. So we'll move on to committee reports. Budget, Maureen?
I don't have a report.
Thank you.
Dave spoke to the budget being passed
the
and the new
update.
mill rate.
Very good. We'll move on to PEP, Planning, Evaluation, and Policy. Laurel?
No, no report, thank you.
Okay. And investment, Neil?
I do have a report. I submitted the spreadsheet earlier today, and if everyone's had a chance to look at it, you'll see that for the month of April, we had a good month. We made $18,514.88. As of April 30th, 21, our portfolio value is at $773,212.94, which means that we're up 3.88% on the year. And so it's $773,212.94, and we have $488,389.89 in restricted funds, which is, I think, a percentage of 63.16%. And again, it was a good solid month, and we've had now 3 good solid months. We were down in January, but we were up well in February, March, and April. So again, for the year, we're doing very well. Slow and steady.
Great.
Good progress.
Does anybody have questions for Neil? No, I don't see any. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Neil, for your report. We appreciate that. House Committee, Laurel?
I sent out an email that Jennifer had sent to me about the carpeting. I'm delighted that's happening. That's it.
It is nice when they find money if it comes in our direction. So that's very much appreciated. Any questions or comments on House? No. I did get to go in for one of those browsing sessions, and the library is looking very nice. Just kept it up well. Facility and site, Maureen? So I'm very good at reading lips, and she said no report while she's on mute. There you go.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That's
No
right.
report.
Thank you. Fund development, Anna Eddy.
Not too much. I'll be sending out a draft of, or actually a selection of legacy flyers. If you recall, we did one around the holidays that was the flyer was an insert that went out to the people who received the footnotes, and we distributed it to that Ready, Set, Go distribution list that we've accumulated. And I think it would be timely to do another flyer, especially for the Ready, Set, Go folks, and include to let them know there's an opportunity to donate again to support the library with the 5K race coming up, whether they can, you know, come in as a donor or an armchair participant. And everything else that I have to report on will come under the 5K.
Super. Thank you, Anna. Any questions for fund development and Anna?
No.
No? Very good. Well, nominations, Maureen, I'm assuming there's no nominations.
Not at this point, but we're getting close to where we need to do that.
Right. So
you know,
for June,
heading towards
folks
the
should be
annual
thinking
meeting.
about committees and any kind of officer assignments and things that they're
Yeah.
interested in joining. So start thinking about that. And then communications, Lisa Jones.
Hi, everyone. Just a few key updates here. We continue to work on the key messages. One is an update to include some information related to, just an update to the existing one we've seen, and it includes, as I said, information related to the opening. So Lisa Masten, I do need to run it by you just to make sure my figures and facts are straight. So it's done. I just need to finalize a few key ones. So you should probably see it in your mailbox sometime tomorrow. The space is underway. I'm due to give Pauline some information related to how we're going to have a key message on space. The slogan that we all voted on, I don't know, James, if I can share my screen or not, but I'm happy to if I can.
Give me just a moment. I can take care of that for you.
All right. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to share it. This is what it looks like with the finalized version. It's your community connection. I just added that on. What I didn't know is, and feel free to let me know, is if there's any restrictions around the use of the logo. Oftentimes in a corporate environment there would be. I don't know if this is registered or if there's any reasons to not include the tagline. And it doesn't mean we would always have to, but maybe one of the things we should think about is, here's our tagline, here's our slogan, how do we want to use it? So that was really what I wanted to showcase to everyone. So I don't know if anyone has any feedback for me on that.
Well, no, I think that's what was voted on by the board members, correct?
Yeah, I think it was, Lisa, I think that Maxine had someone create that, the logo that you see.
Okay.
And I think we can add the tagline. I think that's really the direction that we were going in. And a few years ago, when we were really getting ready to kick off and do some publicity for the renovations and additions, it was strongly suggested that you keep a similar logo, whether it's for the library or the board or whatever, so that people instantly recognize the institution that you're talking about. Not necessarily splitting hairs between the board and the Friends and the library, but to really have it recognizable to folks.
Okay. So so Lisa, were you feeling like there were any restrictions around the?
I don't think so. I don't think so, Lisa. I think you're fine.
Okay. From an artistic perspective, I'm not sure that this is the most beautiful, but it's what we pulled together. So, so that was it. And so, James, I'm good to not share my screen any longer. So, yeah, thank you for that. And then lastly, we pulled together bookmarks. And I realized today, as I was preparing for this meeting, that I could have easily probably mailed one to each of you. So I can do that. I'll mail out a copy of each one of the bookmarks. We printed originally 250, and we'll give about 210 to the Human Services to hand out. And then also to the Senior Center, they will be able to use those and hand them out. And basically, if you hadn't seen it, it's a front and a back, and it gives the hours of operation, the address, website, all that kind of information. And then on the back side, it says, did you know, and I have one right here. It says, did you know, and Lucy Robbins Wells Libraries continues to revitalize services supporting our community. So it looks something like that if you want to take a look at it. But I'll send one out to everyone so that you have it. We talk about the digital collection, the Friends of the Library book sales, virtual programming, and then the Little Free Library book box. So just some key points that help people keep interested. We did get agreement from the superintendent, Dr. Brummett, to actually Chris Shoshen. Do you want to just give an update on the discussion with email discussion with Dr. Brummett?
Mute. Unmute.
Sorry,
There you go.
had to unmute. Yeah, she was very for doing the bookmarks, and she thought it would be good to do for elementary and middle school. And elementary would include 5th grade. So when they're separated, they would have to be differentiated that way. But so one side is going to be, the basic information about the library and the phone numbers to call for the teen and or the children's department. And on the back, it would list separately for the elementary. It's going to list some programs that are available for the little ones, and then a separate bookmark with the backside with information for the teens. So there's going to be 2 different bookmarks, 2 different colors to differentiate, and those are going to be printed, and then I will distribute them to the superintendent, and then they will distribute them with a letter to the staff about the bookmarks and how they should be distributed.
Great.
And that's really all I had for tonight.
Super. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Christine. And I know Pauline had worked on some of that stuff. I just want to remind folks that when we are going to print with anything, let's make sure we haven't copied the old 95 Cedar Street address on things. Let's make sure that we're always doing the 100 Garfield Street. It's easy to cut and paste. I'm the world's worst at that, to go back to somebody's original idea and try to update it. So just make sure that when we're doing that, that we have the new address on all of our things, which is the 100 Garfield Street. Okay, thank you. Thank you, communications team. That was great. Does anybody have any questions? No. My one other comment is, Lisa, I don't think you have to actually mail a physical bookmark to everybody.
Okay.
I think, we saw them in email. If you want to send the final things and,
Okay.
and the different school versions out, I think folks can see that.
Okay,
And that
sounds
would be
good.
nice, because snail mail has truly turned into snail mail these days. So
That's true. Very
it
true.
does take a long time for them to get things going. But thank you. So moving on to old business, we move into the library 5K challenge race. And I'm going to open it up first to Anna, because she had mentioned that she had some things to say at this point.
Well, I do. We talked about this last month. Kevin sent out the announcement to the runners for the past 3 years. That's Kevin Mason, sorry. And right now, as of today, we have 16 participants entered, 13 adults and 3 youth members. Kevin will be sending out another reminder that registration is open. I have to send him the text and he'll take care of that. We talked about meetings, and we've got a couple meetings scheduled. The next one, it will be June 14th is the next official one, and that'll be at 6:30 before the board meeting. Then it will be August 4th, August 9th, September 13th, and September 27th, which will be right before the race. So I just wanted to enter those for the record. Still working on sponsors, and there's been some activity, and I'm hoping that we have a couple of new sponsors joining us. And when they are committed, I'll let you know who they. No, I'm not giving any names.
No, when they're committed. When they're committed.
Yes. And that's all of it from me.
Okay, thank you. And so just to clarify, those meetings will be at 6:30 in the evening. And those, except for September 27th, are the same days as the board meetings. So we're back on our normal schedule. in
Diane,
August.
when is the annual meeting though?
So according to the calendar, the annual meeting should be September 13th.
Yeah, so I don't think you can have a race meeting before that because you usually have a business meeting, right?
No, this is, the date is September 27th, Lisa.
For
So
what?
sorry, Anna, you
I'm
had
sorry,
mentioned
September 13th. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So I don't think we can do the 13th. So we can do the 14th, the 9th, the 27th as official meetings. And if we need to follow up in between, maybe we'll figure that out. Okay. Sound good? All right. So the 27th is not a regularly scheduled meeting night, but it is right on the heels of the race. So I think that we will need to have a meeting at that point just to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row, so to speak.
Right, and the August meeting is a standalone because we don't typically meet during the summer.
Right. So we'll call it, well, it's the race meeting, so that's good. Okay.
And so what was the new date for September?
I think we were just going to remove the 13th, but have an informal meeting on some other day. If we have to schedule that, we'll know where we are on the 9th. The 27th is there. Maybe we'll be able to accomplish the other things from email.
Okay.
Right. I think we start bumping into other people's meetings on other days. If we feel that we need another meeting, we'll try to pick a day for that. If they're on there. Okay. Right, anybody else have comments on the 5K race? Not at this time? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Anna, for continuing to go out for the sponsors. If anybody knows of anyone that can be approached or what have you, we lost our major sponsor from the front of the t-shirt, Keeney Manufacturing. So of course, we're looking for many sponsors or a large sponsor or all of the above. So if you know of any people or businesses or things that you think would be in a position to donate or sponsor the race, we would appreciate having those names or having you reach out to them. Not seeing any other questions or comments.
Can I just add that if somebody does have a contact, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have the documents already in place. They just need to be forwarded to you so that you can forward it on to your contact.
Thank you, Anna. That's helpful. Okay. All right. Open board positions. So we were approached by somebody who was interested in becoming a corporate candidate, and Laurel, as the chair of PEP, has set up an interview for that, and we'll let you know what happens post that interview as we go through. We still have 2 town positions open, 1 Democratic, and I believe it's 2 Republican positions are open at this point. So if there's anyone from town council or anyone in the town who wants to take on those positions, that would be greatly appreciated. We seem to be doing better with word of mouth advertising or recommendations of folks that we know who might be interested. So if you know someone, certainly bring their name forward if they'd like to talk to me or anyone else on the board, especially yourselves, please talk it up or let folks know what's happening. Okay. I don't see anybody coming up with a long list of volunteers, so we'll move on to the Town of Newington 150th anniversary.
I will talk about that, and maybe the Friends did we did a story walk in Mill Pond Park about the history of the library. And there were 20 different signs that talked about the history of the library, how the library started until current day, specifically how the Lucy Robbins Wells Library started. And then We also, the same day, the Friends of the Library were at the front steps of the building, and they had set up displays of specifically about Lucy Robbins Wells, what happened in history during her lifespan, things like that. And we actually had a pretty decent turnout. We also gave out snacks. I think I told you last month we had Lay's potato chips and Rice Krispie treats because they came out the same year that, well, not those ones, but the product itself came out the 1939, the year the library opened. And we had 130 people, we count at least 130 stopped by the library. And we were directing people to the other, there were 7, Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think there were 7 historical sites that day that they were promoting. So we were making sure that we had printed off extra maps for people, and we were making sure people knew where to go. So it was very fun, and people were really interested. It was really nice. And I think it was probably the windiest week of the entire year, because those signs don't hold up too well under wind. And even before the day of the event, we lost one sign. Nothing I could do about it. So anyway, it was a very nice event, and people were very appreciative, and they had a good time. So, and the Friends did a great job in front of the library answering questions and things like that. So it was nice.
Super, thanks. Dave, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I know you always want to know what the 150th anniversary group has planned in the future, and I asked, so I have a list for you if you want to hear it. Also, to add to the numbers, the Historic Walk group did an informal count of how many people were at the town green, which was the center section, and at 944 Main Street, which is right behind the green, and they estimated between 225 and 250 people in the course of the day. And of course, it varied depending upon what location you were at, but that gives you a high point as to the numbers that were there. If you want to know, the 150th anniversary committee has a online somewhere. I think you have to go to the town site. It's a virtual game. Don't ask me what it's about, but you can't just directly get in. You have to get a pass of some sort of whatever. At any rate, it's called Game On, and it's there. Newington Life, in their June issue, supposedly will have an article written by Kathy Clark, who planned a historical walk. And there are tons of pictures that were given to Newington Life, including pictures related to the library and Mill Pond Park, as well as all the other locations. So we only know what they're going to use or not use, but it should be in the June issue, hopefully. The committee has planned a townwide tag sale doing the plans for a townwide tag sale in early September. People having it at their homes, not in one central location. The anniversary ball, it's been renamed to the 150th anniversary ball, is set for October 1st in the town hall gym. Tickets will go online when they figure out the details and so on through Parks and Rec. There is a beard growing contest that has yet to start. I've got a head start here. What can I say? And then last but not least, they're planning a golf tournament in the fall, but they're in the early stages of when to have it and what the details are about that. So there, I've got information for you.
Super, thank you. Lots of fun activities are planned.
I'm sorry?
I said, it sounds like lots of fun activities are planned. Thank you.
They have others as well they're thinking about, but nothing that's formally been worked out.
Super, super. Any questions or comments on the 150th? No? Oh, Neil, I see your hand up.
Yeah, it's not really a comment. I just want to say that it sounds like the committee has come up with a really wide-ranging group of activities so far. It sounds very good. But it's not a question, it's a comment. No, they come up with some very good things to do, it sounds like. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Next is new business, and I think for next month, be prepared. We're going to start talking about our annual meeting, nominations, committee assignments, the format of our annual meeting. Normally by now we've locked in a special speaker or what have you, and I think we've just everyone's held back, not knowing where we're going to be with COVID. So we'll see where we are in June and what we might scramble to put together for our annual meeting in September. So that will probably be under new business. I don't have any other new business listed. LeeAnn, I can see your hand up.
Yes, I have something, and I didn't put it under treasurer's report because it's really for the whole board. We currently have a laptop that is in my possession. The board has a laptop that is 4 years old. Lisa Scott has been very kind to take a look at it for me because it's been running very, very slow. I attribute it to the fact that I have very little patience and I tend to push the buttons a lot more than I should, but he did concur that we do need some improvements. I don't have the exact costs or whatever, but he's doing an evaluation as to whether we can just upgrade RAM so we can get some better speed, or whether we'd be better served getting another laptop. There are some other costs involved because we have very recently updated the warranty on it and things like that. So I will keep you updated, but it would behoove us, because right now, when I turn on the computer, I have to wait 10 minutes for it to boot up. And then when I go to get in QuickBooks, I have to wait 10 minutes while I wait for that to go on. And if I try run more than one program at once, like an Excel or something like that, along with the QuickBooks, I can pretty much wait for 20 minutes or so. So we've got, there's no way we could take this as a board laptop. I mean, loading the pictures for a PowerPoint would be a scary proposition, never mind trying to run one. So I'm just going to I was supposed to meet with Lisa today, and I apologize, Lisa, I got held up with something else before you'd left the library. And I need to get the computer back, and Scott is going to give us his recommendations, and I will have those for you in the future.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Anyone else?
I just said, LeeAnn, the laptop takes 10 minutes to come on? I mean, to boot up?
I turn it on and I walk away, then I come back.
I never heard of it taking that long to come on.
And it doesn't have a lot of data in it. It's just older, and it's tired.
Yeah, 4 years isn't that old.
No, but I don't think
it does not have a huge amount of RAM, and RAM is what helps you when you initially boot up and when you open up other programs to go through. So,
and we might be able to fix it according to Scott with just increasing the RAM.
The other thing he did say was the hard drive in the laptop. That's the big problem, is it runs extremely slow. So he'd have to swap out the hard drive.
That would, yeah, that's
the big issue.
Yeah.
The hard drive.
The big issue is the hard drive.
So we're looking into updating that, either with piece parts if they're available and we can go through that, or a new computer. And of course, if you've been following the news, you know that probably it's going to be based on what's available, whether it would be a new computer or if it would be piece parts that are available, and cost, of course, as we go through and figure out what that is. But it is limiting.
It's not critical that it happens today or tomorrow. If it's just the use that I'm using it for, it's fine. I'll just make sure I'm not in any hurry. I wait. If I don't turn the computer on just to make one entry. I save up a few entries just because of the lack of speed. But for right now, we're fine. But I just want to kind of put it in the board's mind. I have no idea where costs will be at or where final recommendations will be, but we are going to have to do something in the long term.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions? No. James, did we have anybody join us for public participation?
Still no one with us.
Okay, so no public participation, and we will be I would be looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a
You're
second?
welcome.
Second.
Thank you, Christine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Thought not. So it passes unanimously.
All right.
Gail, one down, one to go.
That's right. Don't make me cry.
All right. No, I know. Thank you very much, everyone.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll see
Everyone.
you in
All right.
June.
See
June
you.
14th is
All right.
our
Have a
next
good night.
meeting.
Y'all go.
Thanks.
Lisa,
Bye-bye.
Lisa Masten?
Yes, I'm
I
sorry.
just wondered what day is good for you? I apologize. I got held up today.
I'm in tomorrow. I'm in the rest. The only day that's bad is Thursday.
Okay, I'll try and get in there tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a meeting, just so you know, at 10.
Oh,
From like 10 to 11.
It probably wouldn't be till the afternoon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Jane.
Bye. Take care.
everybody.
Bye, Judy.